G'day guys, welcome back to the Inner City Hermit podcast. A little bit of a different intro today, as you guys can probably tell. Well, those listening to the audio, you're probably used to this. You know how it is. If you like the content, if you like everything that podcast is about, go over to YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe at the YouTube channel. Go follow me on Instagram at Inner City Hermit. And of course, go over and give us a like on Facebook. Inner City, God, I get so stressed because I'm on camera. Inner City Hermit Podcast. Okay, excellent. I'm there. I'm good. My guest today is one of my really good friends, Kate Riordan. She is currently living in Japan at the moment. And yeah, we just chatted kind of everything that's going on in terms of coronavirus in Japan, as well as just some general stuff about, moving and living in Japan as an Australian. So pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, it was a funny one because we were obviously on Zoom. It was very hard. Well, it wasn't very hard, but it was a bit different doing the whole Zoom thing. But yeah, I felt like it went really well, and me and Kate, we were super happy with it. So without further ado, you know what it is. It's the Inner City Hermit Podcast with Kate Riordan. Roll that intro and let's just get this shit going. Alrighty. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of the Inner City Hermit. You would have just heard the intro that I've done to Kate, but we finally have Kate on the podcast. Woo!
Hi!
Yeah, so Kate is obviously living in Japan. You were actually supposed to be here with me during this month.
I think last week we had it planned that I was meant to come onto the podcast in Brisbane, but obviously I'm still in Japan, so...
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, so obviously things have changed, so we've had to work out how the fuck to use Zoom because I've got no idea how to use it, you don't know how to use it, and we're just fucking hoping that everything's okay. So firstly, obviously with all the corona stuff going on, how's Japan looking at the moment? Because obviously, you're close to China, I don't know how things are going, what's everything like over there?
To be honest, it's not as bad as the rest of the world. And I think that purely comes down to the fact that the government has been really sketchy about the information that they've been giving us. It's only now starting to get a little bit worse. There's more cases coming about, which is weird because as soon as they announced that the Olympics would be postponed, that's when they were like, oh, there's 150 new cases that just magically popped up. And so everyone's a little bit skeptical about it. But everyone's going about their daily lives like there's nothing going on. So
yeah, I've seen some of your Instagram stories, and there's literally still heaps of people because are your kids there? They're on holidays. Are they on holidays now? Or
At the moment, yeah. So school doesn't start until the 6th of April, I think.
Yeah, and that
so everyone's on holidays.
That obviously affects you too because that's obviously your job.
Yeah. We actually shut down for 2 weeks at the end of the school year, so at the start of March, and that affected our pay. So we only got paid 50% for that period. Yeah. And if school is delayed in April, that means we'll only get paid 50%. So we're a little bit, there's good and bad parts to it being delayed. So
yeah, far out, man. It's so wild. So did you, through all of this sort of stuff, did you sort of contemplate coming home during this sort of thing, or are you pretty set there?
No, I think I was seeing all the stuff that was happening in Australia and was like, Japan seems okay at the moment. I might just stay
you guys
here.
Seem so chill. I mean, around the whole thing, I
don't know if that's a good thing though.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're kind of the same. Ours really, shit didn't really sort of get real until about this week. So it was everyone sort of went about their own thing. No one really gave a fuck. And then all of a sudden, everyone just started giving a lot of fucks randomly. So
true.
I don't know. But at the same time, I mean, you could probably give me a better insight on this, but I feel like if the government in Japan was to say you need to stay home, a lot of people will do what the government instructs. Whereas here we're kind of just oh, fuck you. You don't control me. I don't give a fuck. And then everyone goes to fucking Bondi and just swims in a human soup of Corona.
Oh, that's so gross. But yeah, Australia is very much set in their own ways and they're I think it is very difficult to tell people what to do there. But here, it's kind of like a collective society. Is that the right word for it?
Yeah, I'd say,
But like,
yeah. It's sort
yeah,
of cohesive. Everyone's on the same page a lot of the
yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah. So if the government was to say like you have to stay inside, they would. But the thing about the government, or the thing about anything in Japan in general, is that it takes like 50 people to make a decision here. So
Yeah.
for them to be like, you need to stay home, it would go through like all these different channels for everyone to like agree before it's actually passed.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think that's why things have been delayed, because they're kind of like, let me just ask like three
Yeah.
other people
Do you think
first.
it
And
is? Do you think it's too because it's obviously a very polite and very traditional culture? Like, do you think that might impact how quickly decisions are made? Because there's no Trump Japanese dude that's just like,
yeah,
fuck everyone, we're doing this. Like,
God, thank God.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think so. They just don't like confrontation.
yeah.
And I think that might be part of the reason why they're kind of delaying a lockdown, because they don't want to be in everyone's faces and being like, you have to do this, because it's not that kind of culture,
Yeah,
So,
I have seen like a couple YouTubers I've kind of like followed. They're kind of doing like they'll go back to like famous landmarks in Japan, and like it seems to be that even though you can kind of freely do what you want at this stage, it seems like a lot of people are still staying away from those communal things. Like I think someone was at like Arashiyama the other day and they did a vlog, and it was like pretty much a ghost town, which I found really weird because every time I've been there, it's been pretty busy. Have you sort of noticed like around like Shibuya and stuff like that? Is it any different or?
the trains are definitely more quiet.
Yeah.
I think the last week it started getting a little bit busier because people were coming out a bit more.
Yeah.
But this weekend is actually like the Hanami like weekend. So that's
Oh
when the
shit.
sakura are in like full bloom, and that's when everyone
Yeah.
has like those picnics underneath the cherry blossoms and stuff.
Yeah, I saw you were there the other day, which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yeah, it looked
I had to
amazing.
go. I had to
Oh,
go.
dude, as if you wouldn't. Like,
It's beautiful, but it was honestly like walking through coronavirus because there were so many people there. And
yeah.
yeah, the government's trying to stop people going out this weekend to avoid Hanami parties because they don't want to spread the virus. But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
it's so odd, and I think because there's no like sort of concise, for example, for us, right? Like I went outside yesterday to just walk to the shops, and there was a part of me that felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I was like I shouldn't have been out there because it was so dead, and it just seemed like this probably shouldn't be doing this right now. But in my head, I'm like I'm literally just walking to the shops. Like I think the parameters around like isolation at the moment are very like vague, and I guess it's kind of the same in a lot of other countries that I've seen too. Everyone's kind of like I know America, I was just watching like a Joe Rogan podcast, and in America they're all kind of just like like it'll be all right, like as long as we stay away from each other, but everyone's still out and about, which it's weird times, such a
Yeah.
weird time. And I mean for you too, because being abroad and moving overseas, this is such a experience for you that's usually so like, oh, this is amazing, this is cool. And then like, you're obviously having to, I guess you're obviously now almost a citizen there because you have to do what everyone else is doing, which is like, how's that sort of feeling? Like, do you feel more or less part of like Japan now that you have to do exactly what they're doing?
Definitely more. I feel like I've actually like integrated into society. There's still some things that I kind of push the boundaries on
Yeah.
when it comes to life here, because obviously being Australian, I've been like set in my ways for like 25 years. But yeah, I mean, so far so good.
Yeah.
I think as long as everyone kind of works together at the moment, it should be fine. But
Yeah. It seems like
yeah,
you're really getting comfortable there. Like I was talking to
I
Kia the
am.
other day, and I was like just over the past few months, like I reckon from the start of like 2020, you've sort of like developed your own sort of like personality in Japan, which is like really cool to
Yeah.
see. Like, do you feel like now is at the time, since you've moved there, now is like the time you're kind of like I feel like this is home now. Like I feel like I'm home. Like,
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. I think I remember telling you guys, like when I moved over here, I had a bit of like a self identity crisis or something.
yeah. I remember that.
Like it took me a really long time to kind of get used to life here. And I mean, I traveled here before and I loved it so much, but there's a difference between traveling and actually living here and having to
Yeah,
like comply with like societal rules and that kind of thing. It took a fair while to kind of like find myself again, but in like the Japanese version. Um, but yeah, definitely this year, after having spent like over a year in Japan now, I've gotten used to, like, I've got a routine, I've got things that I do, like I've got friends and everything. I feel much more settled here now.
Yeah, it almost seems like you kind of have to work yourself out of that. Like, of course, when you get there first, you're like, oh, it feels like a holiday. And then I guess like,
Yeah.
when you started working, it was like, oh, fuck, like I need to
It's real.
like I guess once you add work into it, because I know my mate Kurt, who lived in Canada for a while, like once you add work into the mix and you get
Yeah.
that routine of work, it almost, you get rid of the holiday thing and you bring in like the routine and this is where I live thing. Do you still find that now that you've got that in you, you still feel like it's exciting? Like, do you still
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like, yeah, like what's the difference
Yeah.
between like, the 9 to 5 grind in Australia compared to like doing it abroad? Like, how does that feel?
Well, I'm not sure about actual like 9 to 5 jobs here because my schedule is so flexible. So I work 4 days a week as an English teacher, and each day is different. So one day I might have 3 classes, one day I might have 5 classes, but they're all in the afternoon. So I do a total of 18 classes, which is like 18 hours of work a week, which is amazing. So it doesn't really feel like full-time work. I feel like I've got much more of like a free kind of schedule that I can do whatever I want. Um, yeah, so I can't really compare it, but I know people that work in actual like Japanese companies here, and
Yeah.
it's very much the stereotype where they work from like 8 to like 10 p.m., if not longer.
That's
So
crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a
Cause they
massive
have,
divide.
yeah, they have that, the whole, like, you can't leave until your boss leaves. Like, no, like
Yeah.
I was like looking into some stuff and there was like some businesses where it's a little bit more progressive and you can sort of leave when you've done your work. But then there's others that are quite old school. And it's like, if you leave before your boss, it's like very, like really frowned upon.
Well, they're trying to change that at the moment, just because
Yeah.
there's like the suicide rate is so high here.
Yeah.
There's honestly like not a day that I haven't been on a train and had the announcement that someone's like jumped in front of a train here.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
really hectic.
there's so many, especially on like the express lines.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But the Prime Minister here, Shinzo Abe, I think that's his name, he's trying to change that culture a little bit and kind of reduce the work hours so it's not so hectic on people's lives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because there was that's one of those like really alarming stats. And for someone who loves Japan and like you be in the same boat as me, like who when you're there, like when I'm in Japan, I love it. Like I'm just like I want to live here. And then you hear something like really confronting, like the suicide rates are so like large. You're
Yeah.
kind of like holy shit. Like I guess it's that like I guess every country sort of has their issues that they need that are like big there, like, and that's one that always catches me off guard because it's such like, and the Japanese people from my experience are so like nice and pleasant and unbelievably like happy to be around, and then you hear that you're like shit. But at the same time, like I said, like I've only traveled there on holidays. You're getting to like experience the living, like do
Like,
you yeah
racism is real here. Let me just
yeah
put that out there.
yeah that's yeah
Or I've had a very mild case of like racism against me. I've had people like push in front of me in the grocery store and just little things like that. But my friend Phil actually has had like Japanese people spit at him, like just walking
really
down the street. Yeah. But
far out.
then again, that's maybe like 1% of the
Yeah,
population.
yeah.
Like the rest are really lovely and the
And you
rest will
think,
actually go out of their way to help.
yeah, you think about it here too, and there's like some fuckheads here. Like, I guess there's it doesn't matter where you go. There's always like, I have this theory about like, if you put 100 people in the room, out of that 100 people, there would easily be 2 people who are fucking dickheads. Like,
Oh, easily.
100%. It doesn't matter who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So, with your like work, how did you go about getting work in Japan? Because that's a really competitive job. English like teacher there is, I've heard it's really competitive. Like they go through a really rigorous process of trying to find, are people good enough for the job or are they suited to it? How did you find that experience going through that firsthand?
So I think my experience is so unique in the fact that I didn't actually have a degree when I moved to Japan. And that's like one of the prerequisites to getting a proper work visa here. So what I did to actually move over here and get work here is I moved over during like the winter season. So I moved to Niseko for 6 months. So that kind of like got me into Japan. So nearing the end of my season in Niseko, I just started hustling so hard and started applying for like all these English teaching jobs online. I think I would have applied for maybe like 120, and I got maybe like 5 interviews just because I don't have a degree, and it was really hard for people to take me on because of that.
Yeah.
But I did find a company that was willing to take me on with a working holiday visa. And then that was a process. But they're actually like one of the best companies I think I've worked for. They're really, really good.
What company are they?
World Family.
World Family. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple companies in there that like around Japan that look at. I can't remember the one that I was looking at. No, what was the one you put me onto? Because we had a conversation about it. It was the education one. I can't remember what it was called. I don't know, but there was another YouTuber. His name. Oh, have you got it?
Was it the like the assistant language? Oh, the JET program or something?
Jet. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a YouTuber abroad in Japan, and he started.
I love him.
Yeah. He's awesome. His like everything about what he does is so cool. But he started off as an English teacher in the JET program, and then he did a video on it saying how like they're really intense about it. So like that's really cool that they kind of took you on, even though like because I could imagine in Japan that degree thing is a big thing there. Like you need a degree. So
well, in saying that, I spent all of last year like hustling. Can I swear on this plate?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I spent all of last year like hustling the fuck out of my degree.
Yeah.
So I was doing it online so I could finish it, and I actually finished it last month. So that means that I can change my work visa over to like a proper, like more of like a permanent status now, which is so good.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies won't take you on unless you're actually guaranteed to have finished your degree or you're on the way to do that or anything. So I was super, super, super lucky that they decided to take me on.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome. And especially in a country too that is so traditional like that. It's really nice, and I guess it's refreshing for people who want to move over there to hear that they are kind of getting out of that old school stereotype, because like, when I was thinking about moving there, because like obviously I have this thought, all the fucking time that I want to move there. But then there's also that small thing where obviously like my lifestyle and the way I teach and stuff like that is very loose, and I don't know if that's going to work there. So there would obviously have to be some adjustments made, but I guess it's reassuring for anyone that wants to sort of go there to hear that from someone who's actually been there and have done that. So yeah, that's really cool.
In saying that, I would 100% recommend getting a degree before you come over here, because it was hard as fuck. Like, it was difficult.
Yeah. It's well, it shows, I guess the cool thing about it is it shows that, hard work, if you do work hard and you do like boss it, like you get stuff out of it, which is cool.
Exactly.
You obviously, so we've chatted before, and I think a lot of people I think if anyone's watched your YouTube channel, which I always like boost up all the time, they kind of can see that like, you've done like bodybuilding and all that sort of stuff. How did you find obviously like going into that sort of, because I mean, maybe I'm just stupid or I just am blank, but I never picked Japan as like a bodybuilding nation. Like, what's that like now? Because you've got your like a little gang going on now, where like everyone's fucking community. Jacked, man. Everyone's fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how did that go? Like,
so I was actually, before I came over to Japan, I was researching hard about like gyms and bodybuilding here, because I knew that I wanted to keep it going. One of the issues here with gyms is if you have tattoos, you pretty much can't use like 90% of the gyms here. But once I joined, I started getting into it, and I realized just how big the bodybuilding industry is here. Like, it's not in your face, but when you kind of peel back the layers, it is massive. Yeah, it's almost like more, I guess, more humble. Like, people are, is that, would you say that, or? Well, it's weird. Like, you can walk down the street, but you'll never see like a Japanese bodybuilder, but you walk into a gym and they just appear. Yeah, it's like, where do they come from? They're like rare Pokemon. They just fucking pop out of the ground, man. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
But
I
it's
that's one thing two things. I never saw an obese Japanese person, and I never saw a jacked
ooh,
Japanese person. But obviously, I've only, like I've probably collectively been there for like 2-3 months.
mm,
Like, so yeah, I guess
yeah.
that's why. So what's it like, sort of being? How do I say this? Like, how does it feel being like a chick who's fucking jacked in
Mm,
Japan? Because there's not many girls that are really like, like,
nah.
what's the go there?
So, to give you an example, like I recently joined a new gym in Ikebukuro, which is a few stops north of Shinjuku. Um, and it's actually owned by one of the IFBB pros here in Japan. So it's very much like a bodybuilding gym. But in saying that, there's probably only like 10 girls that train there. And I'm one of the only ones that actually has like substantial muscle mass. The other
Yeah.
ones are quite small. The other day, I was doing 220 on the leg press, and I could hear these Japanese guys around like the corner being like, "Oh, sugoi!"
Oh,
Like they were,
Honto?
yeah, yeah, they were like so amazed that I was lifting that kind of weight. So I definitely stand out, and I don't know
Yeah.
if that's for the right reasons because it is definitely more difficult for me here being more muscular than some of these
Yeah.
men. So.
But do you find it's like, in a way, do you find that it's kind of like you get a little bit of a chip on your shoulder
Oh
because
my
you're
god,
like,
I love it.
yeah, fuck
I
yeah.
love it.
Fuck yeah. As if you wouldn't, man. Like, it's
Is it really
so.
bad to say that I like emasculating some people? Like, is that
Oh,
real bad?
are you kidding? I'd fucking love to
Mm.
emasculate people, but I don't fucking look like me. So,
Give yourself some credit.
yeah, the only thing I've got is big calves. Everyone's like, oh, he's got big
Oh,
calves. I'm like, oh, well,
I'm
fuck yeah.
jealous.
Like, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And I got fucking tiny everything else.
Okay, you can give me some calves and I'll give you some shoulders.
Done, man. I need some fucking shoulders. I need
All
some
right.
shoulders. Yeah, but that's fucking wild. And you met like a really good mate over there. Hey, like, as in,
Mm,
like, you've just become. Did you know her, or did you just become sort of friends, like gaijin
no.
friends?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was looking for a comp coach
Yeah.
a few months ago, and my friend Ryosuke, who's a bodybuilder here, he actually found her on Instagram and like linked me her profile. So we started talking, and it turned out that she was actually moving to Japan like a month after we started talking. So we've been hanging out a lot. She's actually, I think it's a WNBF bikini pro. So she's
Okay.
been competing and stuff for years. So yeah, it's been good. We've been able to like bounce off each other and have that kind of similar energy and whatnot. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Mm.
Do you find that language is ever a factor? Like, because obviously you've been there for a
Mm,
while, so I've kind of heard you over talking at some of your Instagram stories and stuff. It sounds like you know the basics, like you know how to,
mm.
like, you could probably navigate your way through like a conversation. Do you reckon?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's difficult. I can understand maybe like 70% of what people are saying, and I can piece together the sentence if they talk slow enough.
that's pretty
Uh,
good though. Like 70%.
mm,
Like, I fucking understand 70% of what people say in fucking English. So, like, that's a pretty
yeah.
fucking good feat. Like, I sit there, like, I was in Roppongi, and I was
Mm,
fucking blind, man. Like, we went clubbing
true.
one day. We did like 7-Eleven hopping.
Oh
And
God.
anyway, oh my god, hang on, let me just turn off this. I just still have my Facebook open because we were just talking on that before. Okay, we're good.
Mm,
Yeah, and anyway, and I like somehow got through a conversation with a convenience store guy just by saying
mm.
onegaishimasu and stuff like that. Like, when the like chopstick, oh yeah, yeah. And yeah, and then this guy turned around and was like, "Oh man, your Japanese is really good." I was like, "Bro, I said 5 words. Like, I said
Dude.
I said all 5 of the Japanese words I know." And this dude
Yeah.
fully thought that I like knew Japanese. Like,
Yeah.
so do you think you just like, have you studied it at all, or did you just pick it up
Mm.
through, sort of learn through doing it? Like, how did that go?
Before I moved here, I studied like hiragana, which is one of the three like symbol alphabet things that they have. And I can read hiragana. I can't read katakana too much. But apart from that, like I haven't really done any self study. And I know I should, which is super shit because I've been living here for like a year and a half now. But I actually live with like 9 Japanese girls in the share house. So when we
I had
talk,
no idea about that.
did
I
you not
thought, no,
know?
no. I thought you just lived. I thought that room is just, that was it. And then if
Oh
you
my
leave
God.
that
If
door,
I
Yeah,
If
if
I
you
lived in
leave that
this room,
door.
I would cry.
But
It's
that's what
so
I used to
small.
think. I was like, holy fuck, Kate like lives in the tiniest room. That's so funny. So you obviously have a table and shit outside.
Yeah. We've got like a whole
Oh,
living room and stuff upstairs. Oh my
oh,
God, no.
that's so funny. Yeah, I was like,
Oh
fuck,
my God.
man, Kate's gonna do so well in isolation because she literally lives in a box.
Yeah, so true.
This is gonna be
Yeah,
light work for
it's
her.
been great practice. Yeah,
So
yeah.
are you friends with your roommates or do you
Mm.
communicate that much with them? Yeah.
Oh, there's this. So all of them are great, but there's
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
one girl who, to give you an idea, I don't know if she's racist or if she just doesn't like me for some reason.
Maybe she just doesn't
But
like you.
I mean, it could be that. It could just be my face. Who even knows? But I was sitting upstairs meal prepping at like 11 o'clock the other night, and she comes into the kitchen. She turns on the exhaust fan, so it was just like, like really
Yeah, yeah,
loud.
yeah, yeah.
Makes herself a tea, and then just like fucks off. And I was looking at it, being like, "Is she doing
Wait,
that to spite me? Like, what the
what?
fuck?"
Fuck your meal prep. Psh.
Yeah, I was like, "How passive aggressive."
Oh,
So aside from that, everyone's
that's
great.
so funny. That's so
Mm,
fucking funny. Like, yeah. So when you moved in there,
mm,
do you feel like you know how you can sense a vibe in a room? Like you just
mm.
know. Do you feel as though when you moved in, like, did they know? Were they a part of like the whole leasing process, or did you just rock up one day like, "Hi, I'm white girl, and I'm moving in with your bitches," and then
Yeah, I
they're
was like,
like,
"Hey,
"What?"
gozaimasu." And they're like, "Who's this fucking Gaijin?"
Oh,
Nah, nah. They were really good about it. They were really
oh,
good
that's
about it.
cool. Yeah,
It's
it's
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
don't really
that's
want to
awesome.
move. It's too good here.
Yeah, well, I feel like once you're
Mm,
set to, you don't really want to do that process again. Like that whole,
yeah.
moving in, blah, blah, blah.
And it's a pain in the ass here to move, like an absolute pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
what was the leasing sort of process? Because, man, I did it with, like, Kira and I did it, and
Mm,
the whole process made me want to put my fucking head through a wall. So how was
right?
it kind of navigating that in a different language?
So here, because I moved into a share house, it's slightly different. So I just had to pay, I just signed a contract, had to pay like a deposit amount up front. But if you're actually moving into a proper apartment, it's much more difficult. Like you have to pay for, is it like 4 weeks rent minimum, key money, which is like gift money that you give to the landlord, which is usually like 1 month rent.
That's so weird.
Um, mm, uh, like fire insurance, all these different things. It actually ends up being like nearly $5,000, $6,000 just to like move in to an
Like
apartment here.
Australian? Like, is
Yeah,
that, yeah, yeah, fuck.
yeah.
So what's that, like 5
Mm.
million yen? Is that it?
No,
Or
it'll be
500,000 yen?
yeah, roundabout.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like give or take a couple.
Um, but that also, because they don't have anti-discrimination laws here as well.
Oh,
You
okay.
could get passed for the apartment, but when you actually meet the owner of the apartment, he could be like, "You're white, so no."
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow. See,
yeah.
that's part of the country where you're like, "Oh, holy shit." Like I
Mm,
didn't realize that still happened. Like I mean, it's not overtly racist, but like having like that no, it's not even that. It's like you can pretty much deny someone based on their circumstances.
mm,
That's like whereas here we're
exactly.
like if you go to NRAS apartments, it's like, "Oh, you're a cokehead? Fucking don't worry about it, man." Oh,
Right?
you smoke
Yeah,
crack? Oh, just smoke it inside. It's all good, bro.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
I
why. Yeah, I
think,
guess it has its pros and cons with that sort of
mm,
situation. Like if I was a homeowner, or
yeah,
in any situation, I'd like make sure like if someone came up like, oh yeah, he can pay rent. I'm like, he looks like he's gonna fuck the place up though. So
yeah. I
yeah,
think it kind of boils down to the fact that foreigners are like transient here. Like they're not, a lot of them aren't permanent residents.
yeah.
So people could just literally get the fuck up and leave. And that puts the homeowners and like the landlords and stuff in jeopardy because
Oh, okay.
of that. So I think that has something to do with it. Um, but yeah, it's a bit shit for people that try, really want to move into a certain apartment
Yeah,
and get told
and
no.
yeah, especially if you're only there for like a short stay too. I could imagine that they
Mm,
would probably be trying to lock in people who are there for a
yeah.
long period of time.
It's difficult if you have a working holiday visa, which is why I moved into a share house because it's one of
Yeah.
the only places that will accept me without like a permanent kind of visa.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm,
Crazy.
yeah.
Whereabouts is the house sort of like what area? Because obviously, like people sort of, I mean, not I'm not gonna say people, but some people sort of assume like everywhere is like living
Mm,
in Shinjuku. Like what's your sort of area like? Is it very quiet
mm.
or what's the go with that?
It's definitely more of a quiet area. I'm actually only 10 minutes from Shinjuku on the train.
Oh, really?
So
Shit.
yeah, it's super good if I've been out with like friends in Shinjuku or like Shibuya or something, and I can just hop back on the train. Super
Yeah.
easy. But there's everything here. There's like grocery stores, restaurants, Starbucks, like the important things.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Caldi. Oh my God. Do you know what Caldi is?
No, what's that?
Oh my God. It's one of like the international grocery stores here. So they sell like stuff from all over the world.
Oh,
And
shit, yeah.
I would lose my mind without it.
Yeah. What,
100%.
so do they sell many Australian products, or is it more like American sort of stuff?
Definitely more of like American, Canadian, like European stuff, but I can get
Yeah.
like my Mexican seasoning and basmati rice and stuff. So
Oh man,
I'm
that's
I'm
crazy.
done.
Like literally those flavors. I mean, like I every time I come home from Japan and I'm like, and I'm
Mm.
talking like I'm only there for a max of like 4 weeks, man,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, get me some fucking like Mexican seasoning. Like
Right?
I just want to eat like tacos and some shit. Like I guess that's so
Mm.
good that you can still have that sort of option there. I guess it
Yeah.
sucks. Well, I mean, in a way, when you think about like Australian products, you sort of get a lot of your Australian products through like care packages through people from Australia.
Mm.
Hey, like I noticed you got one the other day. It had like Vegemite and shit like that in
Yeah.
it.
Mom and dad sent me this massive ass box. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
under my
awesome.
desk. Um,
Yeah,
I really want to, I'm wanting to do a video with some Japanese friends about like trying Australian snacks
I
because
was
I don't know about you,
literally
but I
just
love them. I
yeah, I
love
was
them
literally
so
just about to
much.
ask you. I was like, have you ever got your roommates to sort of try all the stuff?
Yeah, I really want to do it. So I got them
Yeah,
to send like Cheezels and salt and vinegar chips and Vegemite and all this, like all those classic Australian things and
yeah,
fairy
yeah.
bread. So
Oh fuck yes. Oh, that's
mm.
one actually. No, that's one thing I miss. I can't actually have fairy bread. I don't think, and I don't think I can be fucked
Why?
trying because I'm 90% sure the sprinkles aren't vegan. I don't know. I just
Oh, what a
I feel like
stitch
I've
up.
yeah I feel like I've just done some research into it just randomly. I was like, oh fuck, I can't eat it, and it's
It's
one
like
of
I
those
feel
things
like
where I'm
fairy
like,
bread today.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, I really feel like that fairy bread sandwich. Fuck. Um, yeah, shit. That's my
Damn it.
staple diet, man. Um, I was gonna ask you too. How's like YouTube going? Do you because
Mm.
you and I've been on you like 24/7
Yeah.
because you were nervous about being in front of the camera. Do you find that it's easier? Like you're finding it's getting easier and easier now that you've sort of doing
Mm.
it more.
It's definitely easier when I'm with someone.
Yeah,
Um, but I've started not giving a fuck now.
that's the
So
best thing to do,
yeah,
man.
I actually have a vlog that I'm going to be editing after I get off the phone to you. And for the most part, I'm kind of by myself for that. So yeah,
Yeah,
like, especially now with quarantine and stuff, I think I'm going to film a lot more of just like talking videos about Japan. Yeah,
yeah,
stuff that I can do
definitely.
inside.
I feel like as you know, you and me are kind of in the same boat. Like everyone's sort of stressing about like, oh, like
Yeah.
obviously you got work and stuff like that, and that's
Mm,
obviously everyone's going to stress about that. But people are also stressing about like, oh, what am I going to do to kill the time? Whereas like people
mm,
like you and me, like I know exactly what I'm going to do to kill the time. Like one of the
yeah.
reasons why we sort of did this was because I was curious about like Zoom and stuff. So
Mm,
like doing online podcasts and see how it
mm,
goes. But like you be in the same boat. Like we like I don't think we'll ever be out of things to do as people who put
mm,
shit on YouTube, even if it's for just like hobby. Like there's
yeah.
always shit to sort of create, so it's kind of like a really good hobby to have, especially if you're overseas. Hey,
Mm, I agree. I agree. Like it was really I mean, I'm sure that you felt the same way, but it was really difficult getting into this because I was really worried about what people would think initially.
definitely, yeah,
Because I mean, out of all the friends that I have in Australia, I don't think I know anyone that's actually on YouTube. Like apart from your podcast, I don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if there's anyone that has like a YouTube channel
I
because
think
I
I
know in
think
Australia
Yeah,
it's
Kia's kind of dabbled with it, but I don't think she's
mm,
fully gone all in with it for like
yeah,
sort of the same reasons. Like
yeah. Oh my god, but
it's
huh?
yeah, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, every man and his dog at my gym has a YouTube channel. So
Oh,
it makes me
really?
feel so much better
That's
about filming
awesome.
there.
It's
Yeah.
really cool when you find a community. Like I recently just did a podcast with another Brisbane crew that
Mm.
like Big Shitty Life, and like
Yeah.
just being able to chat to them about those sort of things is so nice. It's so refreshing to be like, oh, like you're into the same shit as I am. Like
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's and it could go for anything. Like it doesn't matter whether you're a podcaster, a YouTube video creator, I don't know, a fucking rapper. Like even if someone like starts a clothing label, like I think
Mm.
we all sort of know that feeling of starting something off. It's like really cool to find that network.
Yeah, it
I
is.
guess
And it
it's
definitely helps.
yeah, in a way, it's kind of like gym as well. Like, I mean,
Mm.
I never really liked gym all that much until I went with like a little crew, and now it's like, so it's kind of like that. That's what I sort of liken it to, a bit like that.
Yeah, I agree.
No, that's
So,
awesome.
mm.
Oh, sorry. This
Just
is the
staring
one,
at each other.
bro. This is the one part about like doing podcasts online that I worry about. Like, it's so hard because there's obviously like a delay, and like you think I'm gonna talk, and then I think you're gonna talk, and then we both talk, and then
it's a bit awkward. Yeah,
I know, right? So like with being in Japan, do you find you are more, or do you find like with living there, do you find you're more or less likely to sort of do the touristy things? Like, because do you reckon you just launched into the touristy things like really early on, and now you're kind of like for example, if I went there and saw like Arashiyama, I'd be like, holy fuck. But if I live there and I've been there before, and I'm like, oh, I could just go there when I want, it's like, like, do you find that there's still that element of being a tourist involved? Like, there's that excitement still, or?
The excitement, yes. Like, there'll be times where I'll just be on the train or like walking down the street in like Shibuya or something and be like, holy fuck, I live in Japan. And I just had this like immense like feeling of gratitude wash over me. But in terms of like touristy things, no. I've noticed that since moving here, because everything is so accessible here, now I'm like, where am I going to go? Like Korea? Like, do you reckon I should go to Taiwan? Like, it's just, I don't really have that want to go and explore things in my own backyard here, because it's like right there and I can do it whenever.
Yeah. Because you went to Spain as well. Hey, like that was gnarly. Like, you're just like, hey, I'm from Australia and I'm living in Japan, but also I'm going to Spain right now. So I find that so weird in that. So you move away from Australia to like sort of a working holiday, and then you have a holiday from the working holiday.
Right.
Like, yeah. It was, because I feel like that would be a weird experience. Like, did it feel weird when you're like, oh yeah, I'm going home, but like obviously coming back to Japan, you're not technically going home. Like, how was that sort of, that would have been a weird feeling. Hey,
it was funny. I was staying in a hostel in Sevilla in Spain, and I was telling the girls in that room like that I actually lived in Japan, and they were like, oh, so you're Australian, but you live in Japan? I was like, yeah, like it's fucking wild. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It feels, I mean, to be honest, Japan has always felt more like home to me, which is super strange.
Yeah, that's kind of like cool though. Like,
yeah, I just feel more at home here than I do in Australia. And that's not to say I don't like Australia, but there's just this feeling of like belonging that I get when I'm here.
Yeah, I get like that a little bit too with Japan as well. Like, I know, like I said, I can't really give it that like the perspective of I've lived there, but like whenever I'm there, like I had this conversation with my friend Nick, like I'm so much more comfortable in, like, I think it's because like at heart, like obviously I'm a big anime person. I love all that sort of stuff. Like, when I'm there, I'm just like this is me. Like, this is what, like, even out of the clothes I wear, like I wear clothes in Japan and I don't feel weird, because it's like, oh, like I can do this. Like, I can wear like, you know, huge shirts and like tight jeans and like not feel weird. Whereas if I went out to like, you know, Newstead or whatever, everyone would be like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, so I feel like
it's the opposite for me. It's the
really
total opposite. Yep.
Oh, wow. So you're like, when you walk around, you're like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, I think my style has kind of, I think last year when I was having that like identity crisis, I had no fucking idea what to wear, because the style here is so different to Australia.
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't even shown my collarbones in a year and a half.
Really?
Like, this shit's risque. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's so true. Even down to like your gym outfits. Like, I saw you wearing a long sleeve.
Oh, that's
gym
free
top.
game.
Oh, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh yeah. Like, I go in there with crops and stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
But walking down the street, it's weird. Like, you can wear the shortest skirt possible, but if you're not wearing like a t-shirt or something that's like high neck, like that is frowned upon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. You know what? Actually, you know, now that you think about it, so that night that I went out in Roppongi, I noticed the same thing. I noticed girls, and I'm talking, this is in the middle of fucking winter. So it's like fucking 5 degrees in Tokyo. I saw chicks wearing the shortest skirts, but they all had long sleeve dresses.
Right?
And I was like, in my head, I was like, what the fuck? And in my head, I was thinking like, oh, it's probably because it's cold. But then I thought like, why are they wearing really short dresses? So,
Yeah.
like, that makes so much sense. I was like, oh, fuck, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's like
So
little things like that you don't think about, hey?
No. But now I've decided that this summer I just don't give a fuck and I'm going to wear whatever I want because summer here is like 10 times worse than Australia.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And the humidity is really bad too, hey?
It's so bad. So bad.
I've seen
To the
videos
point-
of you where you're just like sweating. Like you have
Yeah,
sweat coming down your forehead. And you're like, yeah, just walking to the train station.
Yeah. Like I just become one with the sweat now. I'm just like, this is my life now. This is where I'm at. So,
Oh, that's so good. You're just becoming comfortable in your own skin, dude.
yeah. So fuck it. I'm wearing singlets. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, on that too. Obviously, we've had a lot of discussions about this, so we'll keep it as clean as humanly possible.
Oh no.
You've had a couple interesting stories about your dating life in Japan, and I've heard many things about it. I thought I'd leave it as a gem to those who get fucking 40 minutes into the podcast because I figured this would go for like the rest of the time. But you've had some fucking weird experiences with, and I'm not just saying just Japanese guys, like you've sort of had experience like dating like fucking completely random like nationalities. Hey, like how's that? How's the whole dating scene in Japan go for like a white girl?
Mate, I mean, I'm sure I think if I wasn't a bodybuilder and if I was a little bit more passive, I think I would be okay.
Yeah.
But I have struggled. Let me tell you that. I have struggled. It's so bad. There's like 3 memorable ones that that you know about. I've told you about.
Oh, yeah. We don't have to go into detail, but
it's so bad. Like the guy I was talking to for like weeks and then he moved to a foreign country with another girl. That guy.
That's weird. That was weird. Yeah. The other one that I found really weird was the Tinder one that you had, that you met up with the guy and he had like a suitcase.
Oh, the suitcase guy!
And he wanted to take the suitcase home and you're like, can't we just have a date? And he's like, no, I need to bring the suitcase home. Like, come with me. And what? Can you tell that story?
Oh my God. Okay. So it wasn't Tinder. I actually, I met him at Starbucks.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Slightly.
So it wasn't an internet thing.
No.
Okay, go.
I was sitting next to him at Starbucks one day and he just started talking to me in English and I was like, oh, fuck, why not? And I remember you guys were constantly telling me, you were like, just try something different. Like, don't always go for bodybuilders because it's always the same shit. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'll give it a go. So we actually ended up meeting one night at the train station and he had a suitcase with him. And I was like, what the fuck's this guy doing? So we hopped on the train to Shinjuku and he was checking into an Airbnb because he was flying out somewhere the next day. So we spent like half an hour trying to find this fucking Airbnb. He gave up and he was like carrying the suitcase around with him like for the rest of the night. We went to like an izakaya, so it's like a Japanese pub. Do you reckon?
It's one of those small like bars where you're only allowed like 8 people in at a time or something. Is that?
Just like little snack bars and stuff.
Yeah.
So we went there and then he like left the restaurant for like 20 minutes and was just like outside. And I was sitting there with his suitcase the entire time being like, what the fuck? Am I on a date with this suitcase or what? And he came back in and then we left and then we went to Starbucks and he sat down and pulled out his laptop and was sitting on his laptop for 15 minutes. And here I am with his suitcase. We're just chilling. I'm like, just getting to know his suitcase more than I was getting to know him.
No, because I remember you FaceTimed us. You FaceTimed us and we're like, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, I'm on a date. And we're like, with who? And you're like, I don't know, the dude's outside. He's been outside for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And me and Kia were like, I don't think you're on a date, dude.
No. I think I was just babysitting his suitcase, to be honest. I don't know what the fuck was in that suitcase, but...
just dead bodies.
Oh, obviously. Had to be. Yeah.
Or drugs. It was like lots of weed. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he would have left it with me then because that would, yeah. But it was so weird. And then at the end, I was like, fuck this, man. I need to go home. So I said I was going to leave. And he's like, I think he was genuinely shocked that I wanted to go, as if he thought the date was going well. And I'm like, who in their right fucking mind would think that? He was
probably
on
the phone to his mate like, dude, I am in. I'm fucking in. Like, she's sitting in there. She's doing nothing. I reckon I'm in, man. I'm going to go back in there and just fucking charge on. And then
But I
you're like, I'm
remember,
going home. What?
yeah, I remember he was like sweating bullets the entire time.
Oh,
And I don't
really?
know if it was like nerves or if there was something genuinely wrong with him.
It
But
was
I
the
was
suitcase. It was like, oh fuck.
it's like, don't
She's
look inside.
she's gonna see all the dildos I have in my suitcase.
Yeah, mate,
maybe
who even knows?
maybe he was a Japanese Batman and that was where his suit was. It's like, no
Oh.
one could know.
So yeah, safe to say I shut that shit down real quick.
Yeah,
But
fuck. Oh man. To be fair,
yeah.
it's probably not the worst date you've ever had.
Um, no, I honestly think that takes the cake.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's not too
yeah.
bad then. When you think about like the grand scheme of dating, like the worst one you had is just a dude that made you babysit his suitcase.
That's one to tell the grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. When I met your dad, he made me sit next to his suitcase the whole time.
Like I could honestly give you details exactly what it looked like. I was with it for that long.
Oh, really? Did you
Yeah.
sniff it?
Oh yeah, I was all about it. Just getting up in there.
It's heavy breathing. That's so
it.
fucking funny though. But you had some time in when you're in Niseko, obviously. So Niseko is very. If anyone's been to like a snow, like I'm just assuming because I've obviously been to Hakuba a lot. But any sort of snowboarding village is usually very multicultural. Like there's a lot of rent. Did you find that? When you went to Niseko, because you obviously went to Niseko first, did you find that you felt as though you weren't really living abroad for a while? Like there was a time where you're like, am I even in Japan? Like, yeah. How'd you find that? Because that was obviously the first. You went straight to Niseko. Eh? You didn't really go city and then snow. You went like straight to the snow. Hey.
I spent a couple of days in Tokyo before I went up to Niseko. And that was when I met that guy from the hub. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Oh,
Is it worthy of the podcast? And
it's pretty good.
okay,
pretty
go.
good.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, so I met these people on the plane when I was going over to Japan.
Yeah.
And they were Australian. They were like around about my age, I think. And we went out the second night that we were in Tokyo and we went to the hub, which is, full disclosure, I can never set foot in a hub again after this.
Excellent.
After this, yeah. Okay. So the hub is like a chain of like British pubs and they're all over Tokyo.
Oh, I know the hub.
You know those?
I know. Yeah, I know that.
Yep,
And then
yep.
they usually look like Gillies. Like if you go inside. I know the one. And they're always fucking busy. The one in Tokyo Station is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
We went there and we met these Japanese dudes that were like buying us like triple whiskeys. So like what are they? Rocks glasses? You know, the small glasses.
Like they're like short glasses.
Yeah, just like triple whiskeys, so like full whiskeys. So we were just like knocking back these whiskeys, and I got absolutely fucked up. And then I met this like salaryman.
Yeah.
You know, like the businessman.
Yeah.
I really hope mum and dad are listening to this because this could be awkward. But
excellent.
Hi, mum.
Hey, Mrs. Riordan.
Yeah, got super fucked up. And ended up, one thing led to another. You know where I'm going with this story.
Yeah. Don't need to connect the dots.
Found out the next day he was married.
Oh, that's right.
That guy.
Oh, shit.
That guy. And did you know that if your husband or like wife cheats on their partner with someone, their wife, okay. So say a husband cheats on his wife with someone. If the wife finds out about that person, she can actually sue that person that he cheated on her with. Yeah. So I was like, oh my fucking God. So anyway, that's why I can't set foot in a hub. But moving to Niseko, it definitely felt like a bubble. Like there was maybe like 90% foreigners and maybe 10% Japanese.
Wow.
So,
which actually, that doesn't surprise me at all, really. But I think it's a snow village thing too. Like I know a couple of mates that lived in Canada. They were like, they literally referred to like Big White as like the big white bubble, like because you're just in the bubble and nothing sort of. It's almost it's almost like you're back at school. Like there's dramas and people are getting with each other. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe that person's getting with that. And like you think of it, but that's sort of what happens with that sort of bubble syndrome. Like yeah. So it's interesting that sort of happens everywhere as well. So.
It was kind of toxic in some ways too, because you couldn't really escape the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I met some of the most amazing people there, and I'm so grateful for that. So
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't
Definitely.
actually, I think I skied maybe like 2 times the entire time I was there.
Really?
Yeah. How
That's
shit is
so
that,
weird.
hey?
Yeah. Is that because of work or just because of,
Mm.
oh,
Work was
really just
busy,
work?
but
Yeah.
also because I was like hustling the fuck out of trying to get a job here.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you worked in a resort, hey, like a snow resort?
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
worked in Sky in Niseko, which had just been built.
Okay.
So I was working as like a barista supervisor or something. And I was literally just supervising myself because there was no other baristas.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
it was
sick.
good.
That's a cool job. Especially for
Mm.
you, like, because you obviously have like cafe background, so that would have been perfect. Like, it would have been anything
Yeah.
new. It's all like, yep, okay, sweet. I know I can do this, so I can really focus on like the holiday aspect of being here. But I guess also at
Yeah.
the same time, like because I remember talking to you when you left, and you were like, yeah, I want to have a good time in Nesca, but I just want to make bulk money for when I like
Mm.
come back.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you're in Niska, like this is very early on, so obviously like I said, you're very comfortable now, like you
Mm.
can kind of see it. But was there a moment there when you finished up at Nisco that you were kind of like, do I want to stay? Like, do I want to go home? Like,
Mm.
you know,
Nah.
you're always like, I want to stay.
Yeah. I knew that I wanted to leave Niseko just
Yeah,
because, for one, there was no gym. Like there was
yeah,
a community gym like in Kuchan, which is like the town nearby, but it was shit. So I didn't
yeah,
train for 6 months, and I think getting to the end of those 6 months, I knew that I needed to leave and go somewhere that was a little bit more populated.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but
I guess
never once.
mentally too, mentally,
Hey.
because
Mm,
mentally, like because I know you were so into it when before you left to take that thing away. So like, and I mean, take it away,
yeah.
like as in you couldn't do it anymore. Like I could imagine that
Yeah.
would have played on you as well.
It was difficult because I had competed like a month before I moved. So my reverse diet was shit. I couldn't do that at
Yeah,
all. And then I found Japanese bakeries, and oh my God,
man,
you
they're
know how good
dangerous,
Japanese
eh?
bakeries are, right?
Oh man, I have been
Like
fucking tempted when I was there. Like I
they're
was so
insane.
like being vegan there. All I fucking
Mm.
wanted was melon bread, man. I couldn't
Oh
have
my
it.
God.
I just wanted to fucking fist myself with
So,
melon bread. Like I was so keen on it, eh?
yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
am obsessed with like the 7-Eleven do like these butterscotch pun,
oh,
which is like the round, but they have like the layers that you can
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the really light bread that with like the milky
Oh,
butterscotch in the middle.
yep.
Fuck me, man. It is so good.
Dude, there's
Whew.
bakeries in the train station too where you have the little tongs. Oh,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
The
Have you
fuck, they
ever?
used to do that
Hey.
long, like, tangled
Mm.
in donuts, cinnamon donuts. Oh,
Yes. Like the
oh
cone
my
almost.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. And then
Yep.
some of
Yep.
them, you
Yep.
can put ice cream in it.
Oh my God. Get the
I,
fuck out.
dude, I remember I had one in Harajuku. They had the donut as the cone, and I don't think it was ice cream. I think it was whipped cream. They put whipped cream through it, and then they
Oh.
drizzled chocolate all over it, and it was
Yep.
easily the most amazing thing I've ever tasted in my whole entire life. Like it was
Mm.
fucked how good it was.
Like Harajuku has so many good little things like that, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
That's
know.
a funky place. Like that is a
Mm.
really peculiar place. Believe it or not, the I never actually in the first 4 times that I went there, I never went to Harajuku. And like
Really.
Takashita, whatever.
Takashita.
Yeah, that's
Takashita.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just say take a shit street,
Oh my
and
God.
literally, like, I walked down that street and I was like, holy fuck, this is a
Yeah.
completely different world. Like, there was like
Yeah.
cosplay chicks walking
Yeah.
around everywhere. And
Yeah.
there was like that cotton candy shop that was fucked. Like,
Mm.
yeah, it was wild. It's just a
That's
different planet, eh?
it's like your stereotypical like Tokyo
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah,
right?
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I try to avoid that shit like the plague. Hey.
I was gonna ask, like that would be like fuck. You'd almost be like the thing I would liken it to is like if you lived at like Burleigh or something and you were a surfer,
Oh,
and you're like,
yeah.
oh, all these fucking tourists here, like just go away. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like that because
Yeah.
I've heard like I was talking to my mate Daiki and he's like I fucking hate Akihabara. Like I don't like going there.
Mm.
It's like
I'm the
nerdy
same.
and gross. I'm like, oh, I thought you would have liked it. He's like,
Yeah.
no. We
Yeah.
hate like a lot of people do like it, but I don't. I hate it. And I was like, oh
Mm.
shit. Yeah.
See, I really like the outskirts of Harajuku, like where Omotesando and like the back streets of Harajuku are, where there's
Yeah.
like the thrift stores and the cafes and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that part's really good.
there's a couple co-working spaces around there too. Hey,
Mm.
like I've noticed
Yeah.
that when I walked through there, but there's a couple thrift shops down there. which are
Yep.
thrift shopping in Japan is fucking
It's
so
dope. Hey.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's easy. Like I think a lot of people assume when they go thrift shopping that everything's gonna be like $2, but if you look at it like that, you're gonna have a shit time. But
Yeah.
like you can get like, man, I got like a Raiders fucking windbreaker that's worth like
That's
120
so
bucks.
dope.
For like $50. And like
Yeah.
$50 is still expensive, but if you look at like what it is, like it's a proper like Mitchell and Ness one, which is
That's
so
dope.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I
no,
got a acid wash, like an oversized sleeve, like acid wash denim jacket from
yeah,
Kinji, which is in Harajuku. I think it was like 3,000 yen, which is like $45.
that's
But I
so good.
fucking love it, man. Like I wear it so often, it's not funny. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm.
I was actually going to ask you about the money thing at the moment with the Australian dollar being so
Mm.
shit at the moment. Is that affecting you at all, or is predominantly a lot of your cash now, like your cash flows in yen? Like, how is that affecting you with the money exchange?
Mm. So I pretty much only use yen here. I actually locked myself out of my Australian account because I forgot who I was and I failed the identity questions. So
So you get just money sitting in an account here.
yeah, yeah,
Safety
and I can't
fund.
access it. I can't access it.
Oh,
So
that's fucking wild.
every time I need to buy something like through a card, oh, because that's one thing here. My Japanese bank account, I don't have like a debit card or something I can use to
Oh,
actually like do
really?
cashless or like pay online and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's only a cash card that I have to go to an ATM and do everything with.
Oh, okay.
Um, so every time I need to buy something online, I'm just like, hey, Dad, can I send you some money? And he just like
Yeah.
takes care of it on his end.
Is
So,
online shopping a big thing in Japan? That's I've
mm,
never thought about that, but is that a thing still? Like,
yeah, yeah. Especially with like Amazon and Rakuten, which is like the Japanese kind of like Amazon, I guess.
okay,
Um, if you buy stuff online there, you actually have the option to pay for it at the conveni, so like the convenience store.
that's cool.
It's really
Yeah.
good. So you can pay like rent, bills, some online purchases and stuff. You can actually pay at the conveni.
Yeah, I saw that you could like when I bought my Universal tickets, I bought them
Mm,
through a Conveni. Like, and they were like,
yeah,
"Oh, you can buy like all these things. Like, you can buy fucking movie tickets at like a
it's
Conveni,"
so
which I found
dope.
so weird. I was like, "Fuck, you could literally plan a whole day out just by going to like." And
Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, like a Conveni is a convenience store.
yeah, yeah.
I said
But
Conveni once, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck are you?" I was like,
oh my god,
I'm
yes.
Japanese, actually."
You're right, right. I say that to
Yeah.
mom and dad all the time. Like whenever we have conversations, I just like sprinkle in like little Japanese words and stuff so I can
Yeah,
culture them.
like look how extra I am. Yeah, like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
pronunciation is just shitting all over mine. Like I'm like take a shit street. You're like Takashi. Like, all right, we get it. You're from fucking Japan, mate.
Well, like I'll be lying if I said that the first time I went there, I didn't say that. You know.
Dude, I sit still. I'm like take a shit
Yeah.
street. Ah, take a shit.
Do you reckon that's like full Australian though? Do you reckon anyone else
Dude.
actually says it?
Nah, I don't think anyone says it like that. But when I
Mm.
read it, like you know how it's got that big banner. The first thing I read is
Yeah,
like take a shit, and I just
of
get rid of
course
the
you do.
e. I just get
To be
rid of
honest,
the
that
e.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Nah, I'm just like straight
Hey.
up taking a shit.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh
It's
fuck.
good.
Hey man, we've done fucking almost an hour.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Seriously,
56 minutes, my dude.
man, time flies when you're having fun, eh?
Oh, it's fucking good times with the hermit, my dude.
Yep, it's been
But I was
fun.
gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say we could definitely do another one. I am if this one goes pretty well, because God
Mm.
knows how this one's gonna go. But
Yep.
either way, well, it was all right. Even if it fucks up, I don't really mind because literally, it's like I wanted to catch up anyway. But
Mm.
I reckon it. I reckon we've done it fine and it's gonna work. But yeah. So before we do anything, do you want to plug any of your stuff?
Ba, 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 ba. What, like my YouTube?
Yes, this is where you go. Yeah, I've got all these things. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're such a podcast virgin.
I know, like this is just a whole new world to me, man. Like I've only just gotten used to Japan for fuck's sake.
How good.
Yeah, no, I will be uploading a new vlog in the next couple of days. So I'll pretty
Yep.
much be editing that over today and tomorrow.
Awesome. And
Um,
the YouTube channel is called Kate Eugene, not Kate
Eugenie.
Riordan. Eugenie. Kate Eugenie.
Is that what you tried to look for last time?
Dude,
Kate
I
Riordan?
looked for Kate Riordan and I found this fucking random girl and she was talking absolute utter nonsense. And I was like, guys,
That's so funny.
This isn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But also I'm a little bit more active on my Instagram as well in terms of like stories, like everyday life and stuff. So, I mean, if anyone's interested in getting a bit more of like a first person and kind of look at that kind of stuff than
I
definitely at the other stuff.
Definitely do it, because it's around this time too. Everyone's fucking bored shitless. So literally, like you're probably one of the few people who is actually putting up content that's not sort of boring. It's all like, hey, this is what I'm actually doing like right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that, because I think you're like one of the top ones on my like story thing that pops up now.
Oh.
So I know. It's like you and Kia. There you go. And then
that's so lovely.
and then some other fucking random bullshit.
Yep, that's
no,
fine.
that's awesome. Legendary, Kate. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Dude, anytime. Now that I've got this set up, we can do it whenever we want.
I'm totally down for that.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's the Inner City Hermit podcast. Be nice to each other, be kind to each other, be good humans, especially around this time. It sucks balls right now. If you like the content, go on YouTube and go follow me on Instagram at Inner City Hermit. I don't know why I'm doing this while you're still here. It's really fun.
I'm just watching you.
Really like, oh, God, plug. Alrighty, legendary. Don't go anywhere, Kate, because I'm still going to talk to you.
Okay.
Alrighty, peace out, Kate.
See ya.
Bye.